Yeah, no, go away. Stop. Did you just hear that? He's like, oh, hello. Well, hello there. Oh, no, piss off. Anyway, hi, I'm Simon, and welcome back to an architecture tour of Morrowind. In this episode, in this video, just shut up. In this video, we are going to look at some of the minor towns around Dagon Fel. So, okay, well, let's start with the Halle towns, or should we say fishing villages. Cloud and Namuk. I mean, I don't expect this to take very long because most of the theory and most of the important stuff I've covered already. So we're basically just going to look at these towns and see things that we already know. So this is a fishing village, and as you can see, all these shacks, which are similar to the ones in Sedanin, except for wait, where am I going? What's this guy doing? So this is Halle Guard. As I said earlier, he's got the bone mold armor. Huh. Okay, I misremembered. Anyway, so Halle Cloud is a fishing village, and there's nothing particularly special about it. I mean, it's all the buildings face inwards, although there's not much of a town square. It's more just a patch of dirt. And some of them live above the water, and there's boats and all that. So nothing too remarkable. In fact, nothing remarkable at all. Let's go to Namuk. Namuk is slightly more interesting because of that. So again, we have the fishing village, shacks above the water, a few trees, a bit of dirt. What is stuck on? So that is mostly the same as Cloud, except here we have this building, which you should recognize as similar to the ones in Balmora. Arena Manor. So this is I guess a fairly high-ranking individual in House Halle. Now where is the...
I think I've heard of you.
Is he the boss? He's not the boss. The boss is actually...
Greetings, Outlander. I think I've heard of you.
Where is... Huh. I am slightly confused. This is storage. Well, anyway, so this is the Halle town and Halle architecture, and there's a guy here. Who are you? Who are you? My trade. He's a scout. You're in Namuk. Go ahead, you ask the questions, I'll do the answering. My trade. He's an assassin. Well, isn't that interesting? Background, servant and retainer of the Great House Halle. Okay, so yeah, so these are Halle people. And obviously I guess they're the government here, and their building is up on a little hill overlooking the rest of the town. You know, showing you the power structure. They're the boss. I mean, yep, that's all there is to that, I believe. So, where should we go next? Coal. Okay, let's go there next. Now this is... well, we have more fishing villages. But... let's see, where we're going. So there's a silk strider there. Oh, look at that! What's that? This must be House Ridoran territory. I thought there were more buildings around here. Let's see, there's a silk strider. I guess not. I haven't played this game for a little while, I don't remember all the details of the towns. So this is House Redoran territory, although it's just another fishing village, so nothing that special. Where should we go next? I think we should take the Silt Strider. Oh, let's go look at the map by the way. So we were at Evenheart. We went up to Cloud and then to Namuk. We passed Nisus, we visited that already. Now we're at Ko. Now where can we go to? Trevo, Margan, Oldruin, Nisus. No, we've been to all those places before. What's ooh, Sauron. Okay. Let's go there. Oldruin first.
We make a special treat just for you. Same low price.
And Balmora.
Why walk when you can ride?
And Sauron. So, as the architecture should tell you by now, this is another Hlaalu town. Let's map this town. Actually, I think I've done that already. So that's what the town looks like. This is the House of Earthly Delights. And it's exactly as you think. There are low polygon, highly pixelated naked women dancing in there, so we won't go in there. So this is a Hlaalu town. The temple and the manor is at the top of the hill. So the manor's there, the temple's behind there. You know, obviously occupying the positions of power, being at the top of the hill. And then beneath them are traders, clothiers, trade houses, and apothecary? I shouldn't know how to... Anyway. So these are shops. So the most important is the manor and the temple. Secondary importance are the shops. There's a slave market. Okay, we'll go look at that maybe. Pawnbrokers, outfitters, a strip club, and a smith. Interestingly, every single building here is a shop, pretty much. Which is somewhat strange. Like, there are no residential buildings, or purely residential buildings. I mean, in every shop there's also... You know, they would have a shop downstairs and a residence upstairs. Slave market, so they've got slaves. The lizard people are the Argonians, by the way. And... well, they're lizard people. So, you know, as you can see, there's a slave market down here, and then up here is his own bedroom, I guess. No kitchens and no bathrooms in most of the buildings in this game. So that's Sauron. Not much more to say, I don't think. It is... okay, no, not much more to say. Where should we go next? Well, Mologma, we've been there before.
Why walk when you can ride?
That's this place, which, as I said in the last... was it the last video? No, the video before that. When we were here... you know, this is obviously tribunal temple architecture. The music changed, you might hear it. I think it's that thing there. Basically when you are being attacked, the music will change. Whoa!
Speak freely.
So this architecture is obviously just the same as Vivek, only here there's only one module, whereas in Vivek there were 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 modules. It's kind of interesting. Well, I think it's interesting. You know, you gotta wonder how they were supposed to have built these things. Or did they build these things on site? Were they built somewhere else and then floated here? I mean, these things do float, and you might imagine, well, you can move them on the water. Except I don't think you can fit it through these passages. Another possibility is that Vivek himself might have moved them using magic.
May you find all that you seek, traveler.
But, anyway, no one's gonna answer those questions for us. Tel Brenora. So, Tel, I guess, means tower. Tel Brenora is, well, you should know once you see it. Well, there it is. If you've watched the videos, that's obviously a Telvanni mushroom tower. So all of these minor towns have the same architectural style as the factions that they belong to, and so once you're familiar with the main ideas behind them, then you should recognize what they are quite easily. These guys are gonna invade, by the way. They're gonna attack the town. The quest is to stop them, so if you talk to the mage lord, in this case it's a woman, she'll tell you to just kick their ass and you kill all of them and then you get rewarded. So a lot of mushrooms and I'm stuck. Okay. So they're just pods, right, hanging in the air. Well, I guess they've got some support. So, similar to Cedrus Mora, you have the tower in the middle, and then around it you have the other people, the shops and the residences of all the other people who serve the mage lord who lives here. And just like that, and I believe that's an entrance to the tower. Yep, lower tower. So, you know, once again, tower in the middle, everything else around it. Although here it's smaller. And they're obviously part of the same plant, so all of these pods are joined together. Whereas in Cedrus Mora, they appeared to be separate, although it could just be underground, whatever it is meant to be the plant. So that's Tel Brenora, and I believe if we map. We are here, by the way. So we went up the west coast, went up to Ko, came back down to Soren, and then Tel Brenora, and we can go around a bit. So next is, Cedrus Mora. There's also a Tel Mora. I can't remember. The boats don't really make sense, like they go up and then they go back, and they don't just link from one to the other.
May you find all that you seek.
Tel Mora.
You seek information, Breton?
Okay, so we've taken the boat up here and then up here. Tel Mora is here, which again, another mushroom tower. Similar arrangement, although Yep, so we have pods, these are shops, that's a clothing store. And we have more shops and houses. It seems like in Tel Mora it's not really... I mean, obviously there's still the central tower, which dominates everything. But the rest of the pods are not quite in a circle around it, they're more to the side a little bit. I don't remember if that means anything though. So if we look at that, well, I haven't uncovered very much of the map, but that's the tower there, and you got other mushroom pods around here. Similar idea, Let's see, where do we go next? Ah, Teleroon. The boat's from here. Teleroon is down here, so funnily enough, the boat from Cedrith Morrow doesn't actually go to Teleroon. It goes up here and you have to come back down here. Actually, if we talk to... From here we can go to Tel Morrow or Dagon Fel. Huh. Maybe they just expect you to swim to Cedrith Morrow since it's closer. So here the Wizard Tower, or the Mushroom Tower is up there. The port is a longer distance away from the town. Oh, this place. Underground tunnel? There are slaves down here. Slaves are over there, they're not too interesting. And the tower, there's a slave market. And the other buildings of the town, there's a smith, shops of various kinds, and entrance to the tower. So it seems like this tower has a much smaller population than all of the other ones, although it could just be Pot and Plaster. That's a tavern, I believe. Yeah, I'm not sure what that means really. There's not as many people here as in the other towers so far. Anyway, let's get back on the boat. Next stop should be Voss, which is interesting. So Voss is also Telvanni territory, as you can tell by the giant mushrooms everywhere. But apparently this guy is a little strange. So he's got the Velothi architecture here, so the people of his town live in fairly conventional houses, so they don't live in mushroom pods. Although these aren't really his people, this is like a village. So he's got these mushroom things growing all over this town. I think these are... let's talk to this guy. My trade. He's a farmer. So this is like a farming village. So that's a farmhouse. That's a farmhouse. So we've got all these mushrooms growing, and this is all like, you know, it's not straight. Everything's diagonal and tilted and arranged in a strange way. This is a temple? It should be a temple. Yeah, Voss Chapel. So, and it's got these plants growing over it. So it's supposed to be a fairly normal tribunal temple town, except that it's got all these mushrooms growing over it. And the layout of it is kind of strange, like it's all been crowded together, and then you've got these giant mushrooms behind it. Now, the wizard tower itself, you can see it kind of. He's got an Imperial fort going on, but then he's also got giant mushrooms growing all through that as well. So this guy is just strange. Apparently he's interested in other types of architecture. So he built this Imperial style fort in amongst his mushroom tower. Let's fly upwards a little bit. is kind of interesting, you know? And he lives at the top, and you need to fly up here to get to him anyway. And I don't think these actually join up. If I remember correctly, like you have places where you can't get to unless you have to unless you can fly. So this is his chamber, Orion, that's his name. Yeah, and things like that. So that's unusual, to say the least. Anyway, he's allowed to be strange. He's a Telvanni mage lord. The last place we want to go in this whirlwind tour of minor towns in Morrowind is Dagon Fel, which we saw the name of a little earlier. Dagon Fel is fairly unique, I think, in all of Fel. Well, let's see what it looks like. I don't quite remember what it looks like, and we need to go to Tel Mora before we can go to Dagon Fel. Where are you here? So Dagon Fel, at first glance, it's another fishing village. Although we do see some Imperial buildings and we see Imperial guards. There's also some Duima ruins. So it's a fishing village, or you'd think it's a fishing village, with... what's that building? I don't even remember. End of the world rental rooms, so that's an inn. The end of the world. Anyway, as I said, this town is fairly unique. It's a Nord town, so the Nords live in Skyrim. The Imperials are in Cyrodiil, which is to the southwest. Skyrim is to the northwest. So let's see these guys. Somewhat Scandinavian looking people. They're the Nords. And the Nords at some point in the history have tried to invade Vvardenfell. So if you disregard the fact that there's nothing here, basically the Nords are that way. And they've tried to invade in the past, and apparently they have a little colony here in Dagon Fel. And they have Imperial guards, and so the architecture... well, I guess there's no distinct Nordic architecture in this game. So it's just a series of shacks and then roughly Imperial style buildings. And yeah, I believe that's all of the towns in this game. I don't know if I went through them a little too fast for you guys to see what's going on, but basically each town belongs to a faction, and every faction has their own style of architecture, both in terms of the actual appearance of the buildings and also in the layout of the towns. And obviously each town, the layout of each town reflects the culture that it belongs to. Alright, so that's like yeah, that's our whirlwind tour of the minor towns in Morrowind. Next up we'll go to a Dunmar stronghold. Let's do that. I mean, the strongholds, the Duima ruins, which are these things, which are not... yeah, I'll look at them as well. And then the Daedric ruins. I believe. Alright, I'll see you guys next video.